So this dude blew nearly $1 million on women he met online by selling wine that was literally imaginary. And this wasn't some basement dweller. This was John, the owner of a super high-end, legit-looking wine store in Berkeley, California, that catered to the mega rich. The place is called Premier Cru, and it looks legit. It's got the fancy address, the sophisticated vibe, the whole 9 yards. It's the kind of place where billionaires go to feel smart about their booze. Now, John's got a genius hook. It's called pre-arrival wine, or wine futures. You're a rich guy. You want the rarest, most collectible French Bordeaux, the stuff that's still in the barrel, aging in some fancy French chateau. John tells you he has an inside track. He can get it for you cheap. The catch? You have to pay him for it right now, today. And the wine? It'll be delivered in 2, maybe 3 years. It's a long game, but for these collectors, it's a status symbol, a power move. And they ate it up. They are lining up, checkbooks open, ready to give John millions of dollars for wine they won't see for years. He's selling them a story, a dream, and it's working better than anyone can possibly imagine. He's a genius, except for one tiny detail. There is no wine. John isn't ordering most of it. He's just taking the money. And so the question becomes, what do you do when you suddenly have millions? Well, first you upgrade your ride. John walks out and buys a Maserati, a sleek black Gran Turismo. But one supercar isn't enough for a guy living this fantasy, so he buys a brand new Corvette, then an Audi R8. He's got a whole collection of cars he barely has time to drive. He's also buying expensive watches, designer clothes. He's living the life he sees in movies. But the cars were nothing. The real spending, the black hole that starts sucking in all the money, is online. John gets obsessed with online dating sites. And he's not just going on dates. He's becoming a full-on benefactor. He meets a woman, and within weeks, he's wiring her thousands of dollars. He's paying her rent. He's paying for her kids' private school. He's paying for her to get a new car. Then he meets another woman, and another. He's juggling multiple online relationships, and every single one is fueled by cash, stolen cash. He becomes their personal ATM. One woman needs 20 grand for a business idea. He sends it. Another wants plastic surgery, no problem. He's a hero to them. Their knight in shining armor. He wires one woman over $800,000, a whole-ass life, paid for by imaginary wine. In total, he blows nearly $1 million just on the women. It's a completely separate life, a secret world built on a mountain of lies and fake Bordeaux. He's not just running a scam. He's funding a whole cast of characters in his own private movie. But there's a problem, a big one. Time passes, a year goes by, then 2, then 3. And John's clients, the rich guys who bought all that imaginary wine, they're starting to get thirsty. The calls start trickling in. Hey, John, just checking on my 2008 Lafite Rothschild. Should be arriving soon, right? At first, it's easy. John is a smooth talker. He's got an excuse for everything. Oh, you know the French, he'd say. The dock workers are on strike again. The client buys it. What does a tech millionaire from Silicon Valley know about French labor disputes? But then the calls keep coming, and John has to get more creative. The excuses become a full-time job. Listen, the ship had a problem with its temperature control. We had to send it all back. Can't risk spoiling wine this valuable. Or his favorite, the supplier in Bordeaux they just disappeared. I'm trying to track them down. He's spinning a dozen plates at once. He's creating this entire fictional universe of logistical nightmares to explain why nobody's cellar is getting filled. He even starts buying some wine, just a little bit, from regular stores at jacked-up prices, to give to his loudest and most annoying customers, just to shut them up. It's called robbing Peter to pay Paul. But Peter is getting suspicious, and Paul is getting angry. The pressure is insane. He's basically living inside a ticking time bomb. Every single day he wakes up wondering if this is the day it all blows up in his face. And right here, in the middle of all this stress, juggling angry clients and funding his secret life, the story takes a hard left turn into pure absurdity. You will not believe this. John, the guy running a multi-million-dollar con, the puppet master pulling all the strings, gets conned himself, and it's almost poetic. He meets a young woman from Illinois online, and he falls for her, hard. He starts sending her money, of course. But this time it's different. She's smart. She tells him this sob story about her family and a legal battle over a huge inheritance. She just needs a little bit of money, she says, to pay the lawyers. And once she wins, she'll pay him back tenfold and they can be together. And John, the master manipulator, falls for it hook, line, and sinker. He starts sending her huge sums of money, tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's pouring the stolen wine money into her fake legal battle. This dude, who scammed the smartest people in California, is getting played like a cheap fiddle by a girl from the internet. She is running a classic old-school scam on a new-school scammer. It's the turducken of fraud, a lie stuffed inside a lie, stuffed inside another lie. He is so blinded by his own fantasy that he can't see he's the mark this time. He is literally being drained by the exact same kind of phantom promise that he uses on his own victims. The irony is staggering. Eventually, the excuses just stop working. The lies have run their course. A couple of his wealthiest, most persistent clients have had enough. They don't just call their lawyers, they hire private investigators. These aren't just angry customers anymore, they're hunters. And the investigators start digging. They call the chateaus in France, and the French are like, who? Premier Cru? We have no record of these massive orders. That's it. The dominoes start to fall, fast. The clients take the evidence to the FBI, and the feds, they don't mess around. One morning, the employees at Premier Cru show up to work, and the entire block is swarming with federal agents. They kick in the doors. They seize every computer, every file, every single piece of paper in that building. And that's when they find the truth. It's worse than anyone thought. This wasn't just a few delayed shipments. This was a ghost operation. He had taken orders for over $45 million worth of wine that simply did not exist. $45 million. It was one of the biggest wine frauds in history. A massive Ponzi scheme built on nothing but air and arrogance. He wasn't just selling wine futures, he was selling phantom wine. Wine that was never bought, never shipped, never even produced. It was all a lie. John gets arrested immediately. The game is over. No more Maseratis, no more online girlfriends, no more frantic juggling, just cold, hard reality. And this is when we see his face, the real him. Not the sophisticated wine connoisseur, but the man in the mugshot. His full name, John Fox. And the courts move fast. Faced with a mountain of evidence, he pleads guilty and is sentenced to 6.5 years in federal prison. A long fall from the top of the wine world. And what about his clients, the people who poured their trust and their money into his scheme? Well, the FBI did what they could. They seized his cars, his house, what was left in the bank accounts. But it was pennies on the dollar. The vast majority of the $45 million was gone. It had been spent, vaporized. On cars, on watches, on a fantasy life, and on a scam artist who scammed the scammer. The money vanished into thin air, just like the wine they were promised. All they were left with was an empty space in their wine cellars and a very, very expensive story.